What is going on, everybody? And I am back here in the Trost district, and I'm finally ready to start on the layout and start making this thing come to life. So I've gathered a ton of reference images, and one thing that I noticed was a lot of inconsistency with a lot of scenes. So sometimes there will be a scene where the district looks very flat, like pretty much just flat, and then there's other scenes where it makes it look like it's built on top of a giant hill or something. So I think I'm just going to kind of do what I can and go for a little bit of a middle ground there. So in the very middle here is where the HQ is going to be. I have these diamond blocks raised up just because this marks the very center of the build. So if I ever want to tweak the walls or anything like that, I'm going to need to know where this is. So I'm just keeping that there up high because I'm going to make a little bit of a hill right in the center here and kind of make it taper down. So it won't be completely flat, but it's not going to be a massive hill in the middle either. And then over here I have the basic outline for where the river is going to be. I think that's a pretty good size. There's still plenty of room on the other side here for plenty of buildings, so I think this will be pretty good. I might tweak it a bit, but we'll see. And then I have a couple of brushes here I'm going to work with to make the paths and all the roads, as well as change the terrain a little bit here. So what I have in this brush, we got stone bricks, stone, and some cobblestone. And how I did that, basically when you're making a brush, you can do percentages, and I think I've done this before, but I pretty much had to relearn it. So we got 60% stone bricks, 25% stone, and 15 on the cobblestone. With just a radius of 5, I think that's going to be pretty good for what I want to go for here. And then on this shovel here is just going to be some grass, so I'll make that real quick. So this just creates a small cylinder of grass blocks that'll just raise everything up by 1. So if we go ahead and click it, it just raises it up a little bit. And so I'll be using that to kind of make it go up a little bit. So I'm just going to work from the center here and just make like a little area for the HQ to sit on top of. And I'll try to make it look a little bit natural. So it may be a little bit hard to tell because of the way the grass is like with this texture pack. But I've raised up this center area by just a couple of blocks. Nothing too crazy, just want to add just a little bit of variation. And I've also gone ahead and done the same thing to some of the edges just a little bit. I feel like that'll just add a little more character in some of those areas where you can have some different elevation, some stairs that kind of go up and down throughout the different corridors and alleys and roads and all that. And now I'm just going to lay down like a basic kind of layout for these roads. And there's really one main reference image that I'm actually using for this because it seems to be relatively accurate for some of the other scenes, and it's one of the only pictures I could get that really had the entire district and most of the general layout. So we're going to go ahead and start at the back of the district here. And there's one thing I need to do with this brush real quick. I'm just going to go ahead and put a mask on it for grass blocks so that the only thing it changes is grass. Just in case I get close to anything else, it'll only change these. Alright, so I've went ahead and made a pretty basic layout here. Nothing's going to be perfect here, but I just want to try to work with what I got. So the main thing I was really focusing on was try not to have too many diagonal areas, because obviously building diagonally is pretty difficult. And I want to have as many buildings as possible kind of smashed in between all these streets. And I'm going to go ahead and clean a lot of these up, probably in between this and the next episode. I can tell this is going to take a lot of work and a lot of reworking as well. So a lot of these streets are probably going to end up being a little bit more narrow. And of course, in between the buildings, there's going to be all sorts of little alleyways and little tiny streets that connect things a little bit better. In the middle here, this is going to be the general area in which the HQ is going to be. The entire building's probably not going to be this big, but it's all going to fit inside here some way or another. So this next part here that I'm doing is becoming quite tedious, but I think it's worth it. Basically just adding some smooth stone to the edges of the path. While I do this, I kind of slightly narrow it down just a bit, add in little stairways and all that. And then over here I have started on the canal. So right now it's about 8 blocks deep. I'm not sure if I want it deeper or not, and I'm also not sure if I want to leave the bottom flat. I could also kind of make it like divot down like a ditch or something, make it kind of, not look so flat. So that has some work to do on it still, and then also I'll have to figure out exactly what I want to do with the walls in the canal. Probably gonna have to go look back at some references and see what I should do here. But it's coming together. I've got the layout, I don't know, mostly complete, I think. But I think once I make the HQ, once I get the dimensions for that and kind of the style I want, and try to make that look as good as I can, I think that'll give me a pretty good idea of how to build the rest of the district. But yeah, it is a ton of work. So I've gotten most of the streets lined with smooth stone, and I'm pretty happy about it. I'm getting pretty ready to start working on the main HQ, which is going to be an insanely massive project on its own, and it's probably going to take a while. But once I do eventually complete the HQ, that's really going to give me a good idea on the sense of scale in here, what else I could build, and it's really going to lay down the foundation for the rest of this district. So that'll probably be it for this video. It took quite a bit of work getting these paths in, and especially lining them with smooth stone, and I'm still not even done yet. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe for more, and I'll be working on this some more here shortly.